Hey everyone, I am Seth from Myriad Misadventures, and today I am going to be recapping some of the stuff that we did on Pangkor Island in Malaysia. Don't forget to check out the walk-around video of Pangkor Island to see some more of the stuff there. Pangkor was the last stop on our Malaysia trip last summer. It's about halfway between Kuala Lumpur and Georgetown, and we planned it for the end of the trip so that after walking around Kuala Lumpur and Georgetown, we could rest and relax a little bit. To get to Pangkor Island, you need to take a bus to Lumut. I don't know how to say it. But you have to take a bus there because it is the closest town on the mainland. There are a bunch of buses that go there. To get there, we took one from Buttersworth, across from Georgetown, and when we left, we took another one back to Kuala Lumpur. Once you get to Lumut, you need to take a ferry from the mainland to Pangkor Island. This ferry is just for people and takes a little bit longer, which is sort of what I had expected ferries to be like, unlike the one from Buttersworth to Georgetown, which was very large to accommodate cars and didn't take too long at all. The ferry arrives on the eastern part of the island, where most of the locals live. It doesn't really seem to be a place for tourists, but it might be a good place to go to get more authentic or less expensive food. We went one day for coffee and snacks, and it was really good. Well, that's something, I guess. Coffee. The western half of the island is where most of the facilities for tourists are. In the southwest, there's a small, almost town that has a bunch of restaurants and some stores. It's a good place to get some food between beach trips, and the stores aren't too expensive if you forgot anything. We didn't bring a towel to save luggage space, and we bought one there the first night. There seem to be hotels dotted all the way up the western edge of the island. The one that we stayed at was just a little bit north of the small almost town. The hotel wasn't bad and the area was okay. It was right across from a nice beach, but other than our hotel, there really wasn't much there. We had to walk at least halfway to the town before we could find a restaurant. It's great if you're trying to avoid the people and you want everything to be nice and quiet and relaxed. It's not so great when you're hungry. Farther north from where we were, there was another area with hotels and restaurants that seemed a little bit more dense. It might be easier to stay there if you go, because there seem to be more facilities in the general area, lots more restaurants and hotels, as opposed to ours, which was sort of secluded. Most people will probably go for the beaches, which is why we went, and there are a lot of them. They weren't very big, but they were usually pretty long. They were also both quiet and clean. When we were there weren't many people at all. I don't know if that's normal or if we were there during an off-peak season. The island does have some other things to do, but they play second fiddle to the beaches. If you're not interested in the beaches, the other things probably aren't interesting enough to merit a trip to Pangkor Island. But if you're going for the beaches and you just want a couple hours or a day to do something else, they are great to see. The island isn't huge, but it is probably too big to walk. So if you have an extra day to spare, it's definitely worth renting a car or a bike or getting a driver and taking a tour around the island to see all the stuff that it has to offer other than the beaches. The middle of the island seems pretty forested, and I think I remember seeing some places that offered hikes through it. We didn't do any though, so I don't know how good they are, how long they take, or how hard they are. In the southeast part of the island, you can find the remains of an old Dutch fort, an enormous rock that is the center of a local legend about a baby and a tiger, and a really cool mosque that is built out over the water. On the east side of the island, north of the town where the ferry drops you off, is the Fulin Gong Temple, which is a Chinese-styled temple surrounded by some cool gardens, and which also has a really neat mini replica of the Great Wall of China. If you walk up the hill behind the temple, which isn't too high, you can get a great view of the entire complex. When I was at the top of the hill, I actually saw some monitor lizards, which I then ran down the hill to get a closer look at. The west part of the island also has a temple, and if you're staying over there and you don't want to do a whole tour, it might be a good way to break up the beaches. If you get a car or a driver, you can just make a big loop of the island and see each of these things as you go by. Pangkor Island was the perfect end to our trip. Although it does have some stuff to see, I think the real draw are the beaches, and it's definitely worth a stop if you're looking to relax and you're in Malaysia. Thank you everyone for watching. Don't forget to check out the walk-around video of Pangkor Island, and if you enjoyed the video, give me a like and click that subscribe button down below. And if you've been to Pangkor Island, leave me a comment down below with what you thought. When you were there, was it crowded? Because it wasn't when we were there, and I'm really wondering if it was off-peak season or not. The proverbial sitting on the computer so you can't do any work.